Do you want to optimize your LinkedIn profile? In today's video, we're going to look at a real-life example of a LinkedIn profile and analyze it section by section so you can look at this example and learn how you can maximize your LinkedIn presence. Welcome to my channel. I'm Anna. I'm a career advisor, and in my videos, I talk about how to get you hired for that fantastic job you want and, of course, deserve. And now let's start looking at a profile of Jane Chan. First of all, Jane and I are not connected. I don't know her personally, but she's a second-degree connection, and yet I cannot see her profile picture, which means that in her public profile setting, she adjusted it in a way where only people she's connected to probably can see her profile photo. Or maybe she does not have a profile photo at all. In either of those cases, if anything applies to you, if you don't have a profile photo on your LinkedIn, or you are for some reason restricting the visibility of that photo, please don't do that. The more people can see your picture, the better are the chances that your LinkedIn profile is going to work for you and not against you. Because anyways, we're all human and we're looking for other real humans on this platform. So there is a way that you can adjust your public profile visibility and make sure that whoever opens up your profile can still see your face. Jane is not using any background image at the top of her profile. I would highly recommend that you do use a standout banner image. You can either look at some options online or you can design one yourself for free using Canva or other tools for very simple do-it-yourself graphic designers. You don't have to be a pro to do that. Still, it adds a little bit of a personal touch to your profile and makes it more memorable and helps it to stand out visually. Let's look at Jane's headline. She has a lot of buzzwords that there's nothing wrong with any of those words in particular, but altogether I'm reading a lot of words and I'm still not understanding who Jane is and what this profile is about. One of the biggest downsides that can happen when you're using too many buzzwords that seem popular and super common on LinkedIn is that you're using them at the expense of clarity. One of the most important things for your LinkedIn profile is to be able to tell who you are, what you do within a matter of a couple seconds. If a person looking at your profile cannot do that, what's the point of having your LinkedIn profile in the first place? So my recommendation to Jane would be, if she is somehow related to credit operations or financial management, which we can only see towards the end of her headline, I would put that in the beginning. Ideally, you can look at some job titles that are either the exact job title that you have today or are very similar. So there are other keyword combinations that recruiters or other people on LinkedIn can use to find somebody with your background and your expertise. Only after you've listed a few of those, you can add more content in your headline, such as a slogan or some other words or keyword combinations that reflect your passions. Looking further, let's look at her About section. Okay, she talks about being passionate about financial management and always on the lookout for new ways to grow my wealth to prepare for my retirement. That is probably clearly a big passion of hers, but again, I don't have enough information about Jane's goals and objectives for her LinkedIn profile, but I would say that the general rule of thumb is you have to start with things that other people want to know about you, meaning you have to answer the question, what's in it for them? Why should they keep reading? If I'm only reading stuff that is just about your goals for your life, for your personal life, for your professional life, as an employer, I'm losing sight of what's in this for me, what kind of value you can add to me or my organization. As you can see, a lot of Jane's content is like that. She talks about, I see myself as a highly motivated person. I am an enthusiastic and people-oriented person. Those are great characteristics, except that when there isn't enough context as to where that comes from and what kind of value that creates for prospective employers, we're losing sight of why your putting yourself out there on LinkedIn in the first place. In the core competencies, Jane is listing some very generic soft skills. Again, nothing wrong with the skills themselves, but when they are out of context, when they're simply listed on your profile, as an employer, as a prospective recruiter, as a viewer of her profile, I have no way to tell whether it's actually true or she just Googled those buzzwords and used them on her profile. So if you want to use some core competencies in your About section, make sure that they are either very specific for your industry, for your profession, or turn them into value-driven outcomes that you were able to create. Maybe there was a 50% cost reduction of some sort, or 5 times growth in revenue, things like that. Something that ties to tangible outcomes, be it quantitative, so something that is quantifiable, or qualitative outcomes, but at least the employer or the recruiter who is reading this can clearly see the value. Looking at activity, let's see what she has in here. So Jane regularly reacts to content, as in she likes different posts, but she does not comment at all. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, a great way to increase your visibility on LinkedIn is by proactively engaging with the content that applies to your industry. So if you're someone who is lurking in the background and being too intimidated to be more active on LinkedIn, now is the time to change that, because if you want more people to find you, to invite you to partner, to collaborate, maybe to hire you, you do need to show your expertise more proactively on LinkedIn, and commenting is a great way to do that. Okay, going back to her experience. When you're listing the name of your job, you can definitely use the exact job title that you have. It has to match the title that you have on your resume. But if it happens that in your case, your actual job, so the things that you are in fact doing in reality, are outside of the job description of that job title. So you were maybe an analyst, but you were doing a lot of event management or something like that. You can still use those keywords in your job title to showcase that there was another big functional area of focus that just does not naturally follow from that job title. That does not apply to Jane necessarily, but that's just a great tip for maximizing your profile and showing different sides of your experience if you want to show that you're doing a lot more things that are outside of your job description. So if we're looking at Jane's description of your most recent role, which is the one that recruiters are definitely check out first, she talks about her job duties. She even uses that word, and then she simply lists those tasks. Although she does probably have some important keywords in here that people might search for on LinkedIn, but the thing that gets recruiters, employers, other companies, potential partners interested is value. It's not only about what you did at your previous job or your current job, it's actually about how you did those things and the value that created. So shifting from job functions or job tasks to results is a complete game changer for your LinkedIn profile. Looks like she's using something very similar in all of her previous roles. Again, in some of the companies, as you can see, there isn't a logo next to the experience. That could either mean that the company doesn't have a LinkedIn page yet, or maybe Jane hasn't updated her profile in a while and she hasn't noticed that the company created a LinkedIn page already. Ideally, if the company does have a LinkedIn page, you do want to have some of those logos because it just makes the whole look of, like, it just creates a more professional impression on your profile. So again, same principle, a lot of job tasks, not enough results and outcomes. Education, pretty straightforward, and Jane added a lot of other additional information in her education, in her Bachelor of Science, which is great. If you are someone who is concerned about revealing your age, by showing your exact years of, education or graduation, you're definitely running that risk of age discrimination. And unfortunately, that's a real thing. We may not like it, but it's out there. So it's totally okay to take that off your profile and simply list your education without specific dates. If we look at the skills section, Jane has quite a few skills on her profile. A lot of them are specific to her industry, such as financial services or retail banking, which is great. And then we're moving on to some other skills that are more soft skills and not just hard skills. It's a good way to combine both. There are just two things to keep in mind. Number one is if you are listing some skills on your profile, it would be great to get them endorsed because that does improve your profile visibility. And the other thing is the top 3 skills that appear on your profile before you click on more, those need to be the top skills for not only the job that you have today, but the job that you want to get now that if you are actively job hunting. Even if it's not the top skill in your current position, make it a top skill on your profile if that's the type of work you want to do next after your current job. Okay, she's listing some languages, which is great. We can see some things in her interests. We can see companies, we can see a couple groups and things like that. Not the most important section, but still adding a little bit more information about who you are, what your area of interest is. Overall, I would say that Jane has quite a few things to improve on her profile if she wants to boost her visibility. And I hope that you can take away a few tips in terms of optimizing the different sections on your profile as well, making sure that you're getting the right type of audience attracted to your profile and not missing out on all those opportunities that might be waiting for you on LinkedIn. If you enjoyed today's video and had some lessons to take away for your LinkedIn presence, don't forget to hit thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that we could stay in touch. In the description below, I'm going to drop a link where you can set up a free call with me and see if there's a way how we can work together to boost your LinkedIn profile and step up your networking game. I hope to see you soon.